Noting that the Senate requires what's referred to as a quorum in order to vote on any legislation, Lindsey Graham, a GOP senator, has decided that maybe GOP lawmakers in the Senate can learn a thing or two from Democratic lawmakers in the Texas legislature who fled the state in order to prevent a vote on a voter suppression bill. So this is telling. Pay close attention to what he has to say, and then we'll unpack it when we come back.
If for some reason they pass reconciliation budget resolution to bring that bill to the floor of the United States Senate, the $3.5 trillion bill, you got to have a quorum to pass a bill in the Senate. I would leave before I'd let that happen. So to my Republican colleagues, we may learn something from our Democratic friends in Texas when it comes to avoiding a $3.5 trillion tax and spend package. Leave town.
Wow. So you just see them leave and you're saying, fine, they were effective in not giving the Republicans a quorum. You'll do the same thing on a $3.5 trillion tax and spend.
Hey, Vice President Harris, if you think these people are heroes, well, then I expect you to show up and pat us on the back. Hell yeah, I would leave. I will use everything lawfully in my toolbox to prevent rampant inflation.
I mean, to prevent rampant inflation, that last part makes my skin crawl because, again, I always go back to what the Federal Reserve is doing with insanely low interest rates, which leads to inflation more than anything else, including raising wages for people. But that's beside the point. Let's focus on what he mentioned there in regard to quorum and just not showing up for a vote on the $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill. Remember, Democrats just wanted to work with Republicans. So as a result, we have the bipartisan infrastructure bill, which is garbage. It has some, effort to fund infrastructure projects while also privatizing quite a bit of public infrastructure. I'm not in favor of that bill, but the bipartisan bill is different from the reconciliation bill, which could pass with a simple majority in the Senate. The $3.5 trillion reconciliation infrastructure bill includes everything that we want, all of the human infrastructure components, including the necessary funding for childcare, for elder care, an expansion of Medicare. I mean, everything that we need to just, push for a little progress in the country. And so what Republicans like Lindsey Graham are saying is, well, you need a certain number of senators there in order to have a vote to begin with, and maybe we're not gonna show up. At least 51 senators must be present on the floor for the upper chamber, the Senate, to conduct business, and that's according to the Constitution. Quorum is normally assumed unless a roll call vote or other motion finds that not enough senators are present. And the reference to Texas, for any of you who might have missed the story, the Texas legislature requires at least 100 of the 150 representatives in the state House of Representatives and 21 of the 31 senators in the state Senate to be present to conduct business. So the Democrats, the Democratic lawmakers fled the state of Texas in order to deny the quorum so the state wouldn't pass a voter suppression bill. I think that was awesome and it was within their right. It was in their toolbox, they used it, I think it makes sense. The same is gonna happen in the Senate. I don't begrudge the GOP for wanting to use the tools in their toolbox in regard to a bill that they're not in favor of, right? But my issue is more with the fact that Democrats decided to play patty cakes with Republicans for a ridiculous bipartisan bill in the first place, when we know that Republicans have no interest in negotiating with and working with the Democratic Party.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny to watch the biggest weasel, the most spineless coward in all of American politics, in Lindsey Graham, try to do tough talk on Fox News. It's cute, actually, Lindsey Graham, what you're doing. But all of this is just talk from a guy who clearly has no options and no power in the situation. This is all desperation talk, Hail Mary talk. If the Dems decide they're gonna get this thing done via reconciliation, which I think for now that they will, I think the actual thinking people in the party are actually prevailing in this. And the idiot mansions and cinemas of the world, who these are the people they want to negotiate with, by the way,
right.
Anna. It's the Lindsey Grahams. Like, this is who we're talking about. These freaking terrorists of government is who they wanna work with. And the guy showed his hand. He said, I have no interest in that. And again, for the folks watching at home, Lindsey Graham wasn't talking about inflation, and he wasn't talking about a spend or a give back when they passed a record tax cut. Taxes are not revenue. It's the opposite. Tax cuts are a spend. You're losing money when you cut all them damn taxes. Lindsey Graham had no problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, the whole Senate parliamentarian and reconciliation rules in the Senate, it's all ridiculous, right? Because the legislation would need to have an impact on the federal budget. It doesn't even matter if it's a positive impact or a negative impact, as long as it has an impact on the federal budget, which the tax cuts for the rich certainly did, it qualifies as something that can pass through reconciliation, which is how the GOP in the Senate was able to pass Trump's tax cuts for the rich in 2017. Now, I'm fascinated by your take, Woz, because you are way more optimistic than I am. I actually think that the reconciliation bill is dead on arrival. There are way too many obstacles in the way to pass this, and I don't think what Lindsey Graham is saying is all talk. I think that Republicans will stop at nothing to ensure that Biden fails, to ensure that he doesn't secure a win. And if they all need to flee the Senate on the day that there's a floor vote on the reconciliation infrastructure bill, I think that every single one of them will be gone. I think they'll flee.
It's interesting. I feel like this entire infrastructure process has been one big dog and pony show where, the White House and their subordinates have felt the need to performatively be like, look, we gotta take this big bill to the Republicans and try to work with them. And then the Republicans like Lindsey Graham, or even, remember the other day, Mitch McConnell went back to Kentucky. He bragged about the COVID bill and all the money that the state got while also talking crap about it, talking both sides of his mouth. So it's like, this is what they kind of do. They do the dog and pony show, but ultimately I think the Dems they know they can do it on their own, and ultimately they will. They just feel the need to always have to include these idiots in everything. And so that's the process that we're going through right now.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.